The laundry door opened at the worst possible moment. She spun around, blood-soaked towel falling from her grip, and locked eyes with Ji-seok, her employer, the man who'd barely acknowledged her existence in 6 months. His gaze swept to the knife wound on her shoulder, the blood on the white tile, and something flickered across his face that made her chest tighten. "You're lying," he said when she tried to explain it away, moving toward her with surprising speed until she had nowhere left to run. "I've watched you for 6 months, Alma. I know when you're afraid," and what he revealed next would shatter everything she thought she knew about the silent man who'd been watching her all along. The blood dripped onto the white tile floor before Alma could stop it. She pressed the folded towel harder against her shoulder, teeth clenched against the sharp sting that radiated down her arm. The staff laundry room hummed with the gentle rhythm of washing machines, a sound that had become her refuge over the past 6 months. It was 3 in the morning, the only time she could be sure no one would find her like this. Her hands trembled as she reached for the first aid kit she'd hidden behind the detergent bottles. The cut wasn't deep enough for stitches, but it was long, angry, and still bleeding. She'd gotten careless tonight. When she'd spotted him waiting near the staff entrance again, she should have gone straight to security. "You can't hide forever, Alma," he'd whispered before she'd managed to push him away and run. His knife had caught her shoulder as she'd twisted free. "I told you I'd find you." The laundry room door opened. Alma's heart stopped. She spun around, pressing herself against the counter, the bloody towel falling from her grip. Ji-seok stood in the doorway. For a moment, neither of them moved. Her employer, the man whose mansion she'd cleaned for half a year, the tech billionaire who barely spoke 10 words to her in a month, stood frozen with his hand still on the door handle. His dark eyes swept from her face to her torn uniform, to the blood on her shoulder, to the red stains spreading across the white tile. "Sir, Alma started, her voice cracking. "Don't." Ji-seok's voice was quiet, controlled, but something flickered in his expression that made her chest tighten. He stepped inside and closed the door behind him. "Don't tell me it's nothing." He moved toward her with surprising speed. Alma backed up until she hit the counter, nowhere left to go. "I fell in the garden," she said quickly. "The stones were wet and You're lying." Ji-seok stopped in front of her, close enough that she could smell his cologne. His gaze fixed on her shoulder. "That's a knife wound." Alma's breath caught. Of course he would know. Ji-seok hadn't built a security empire by being naive. "Sit," he commanded, gesturing to the folding chair near the dryer. "Mr. Han, really, I can." "Sit down, Alma." The way he said her name made something inside her chest crack open. She sank into the chair, her shoulder screaming in protest. Ji-seok knelt in front of her, opening the kit. "This is going to hurt," he said, pulling out antiseptic wipes. Alma bit her lip as he cleaned the wound, his touch surprisingly gentle. She watched his face, the sharp line of his jaw tight with concentration. "How long?" he asked quietly. "How long what? How long has someone been threatening you?" Alma's heart hammered. "I don't know what." "Don't." His eyes snapped up to meet hers, and the intensity in them stole her breath. "I've watched you for 6 months, Alma. I know when you're afraid. I know when you check the windows twice before pulling the curtains. I know you haven't taken a single day off." He pressed a butterfly bandage over the cleaned wound. "What I don't know is who hurt you and why you didn't tell me." Tears burned behind Alma's eyes. She'd been so careful, so quiet. How had he seen all of that? "It's not your problem," she whispered. "It became my problem the moment you started bleeding in my house." Ji-seok's jaw clenched. "Tell me who did this." Alma looked away. "Someone from before. From Jamaica. He followed me here. An ex. Someone I thought I could trust." Her voice cracked. "I testified against his brother in a case back home. Robbery assault. They said I'd be safe if I did the right thing. They were wrong." Ji-seok's hands stilled on her shoulder. "You came to Seoul to hide. I came to survive." Alma met his gaze. "Please, Mr. Han, I'll leave tonight. I never meant to bring danger to your home. You're not going anywhere." The certainty in his voice made her blink. "But, do you know what I do, Alma?" Ji-seok stood. I build security systems for governments, for corporations that can't afford to be vulnerable. I have resources most people can't imagine. He pulled out his phone. And you think I'm going to let you walk out of here alone, wounded, with someone hunting you? You barely know me. I know enough. His voice dropped. I know you're the only person in this house who says good morning like you mean it. I know you leave fresh flowers in the library every week because you noticed I work there. I know you're kind to the security staff, that you help the cook even though it's not your job. His gaze softened. And I know that for 6 months, you've been the only bright thing in my empty life. Amma's breath caught in her throat. Ji-seok made the call. Kung-min. I need a full security sweep of the grounds. Now. And I want Lee here in 20 minutes with his medical kit. He paused. Yes, I know what time it is. Do it anyway. He hung up and looked at Amma. You're moving into the East Wing tonight. The guest suite near my quarters. It has reinforced windows and its own security system. Mr. Han, I can't. You can and you will. He crouched in front of her again, and his hand covered hers. I should have noticed sooner. I won't make that mistake again. Why? Amma whispered. Why do you care? Ji-seok's thumb brushed across her knuckles. Because I know what it's like to be hunted. Because I know what it's like to have nowhere safe to go. His voice dropped to barely a whisper. And because when I saw you bleeding on that floor, something inside me broke. Before Amma could respond, footsteps echoed in the hallway. The head of security, Kung-min, burst through the door, his eyes widening when he saw Amma's shoulder. Perimeter breach. Someone got onto the grounds tonight and attacked Ms. Sinclair. Ji-seok's voice was ice. I want every camera feed reviewed. I want to know how he got in and where he went. And I want it done in the next hour. As the security team scattered, Ji-seok turned back to Amma. Can you walk? She nodded. Ji-seok offered his arm, and after a moment's hesitation, she took it. The East Wing guest suite was larger than her entire apartment back in Kingston. There are clothes in the closet from my sister's last visit, Ji-seok said. Dr. Lee will be here soon to check your shoulder properly. Amma stood in the middle of the room, feeling lost. I don't understand any of this. You don't have to. Ji-seok moved to the window. All you have to do is rest and let me handle the rest. I'm not used to being taken care of. I know. He turned to face her, vulnerability in his eyes. I'm not used to caring. But here we are. A knock at the door interrupted them. Dr. Lee swept into the room with a medical bag. Mr. Han, I came as quickly as I could. Ji-seok stepped toward the door, but Amma's voice stopped him. Mr. Han. He turned back. Thank you, she said softly. Something shifted in his expression. Rest, Amma. We'll talk more tomorrow. After Dr. Lee finished and left, Amma showered carefully and found a soft cotton nightgown in the closet. The bed was impossibly comfortable, but sleep came restlessly. When she woke, sunlight streamed through the windows, and someone was sitting in the chair near her bed. Ji-seok. He still wore last night's suit, though his tie was gone. Dark circles shadowed his eyes. You didn't sleep, Amma said. He looked up. Neither did you. I heard you crying out around 4. You've been here all night? Someone needed to be. He closed his laptop. We found him on the camera feeds. Marcus Campbell, age 32, entered the country 3 weeks ago. He's been watching the house, learning your routine. Amma's blood ran cold. 3 weeks. He won't get near you again. Ji-seok's voice carried a promise. I've reported him to immigration. I have friends in the Seoul police. And I've tripled security on the grounds. He won't stop, Amma whispered. His brother is serving 15 years because of my testimony. Marcus blamed me for everything. You did the right thing. The right thing got me here, bleeding and alone. You're not alone anymore. Ji-seok moved to sit on the edge of her bed. I meant what I said last night. You're under my protection now. Why? Amma searched his face. I'm just your maid. Ji-seok was quiet for a long moment. When he finally spoke, his voice was raw. 5 years ago, someone I cared about was killed because I was too focused on my work to notice she was in danger. She never told me she was being threatened. She died alone while I was in a board meeting 20 floors above her. Amma's heart clenched. Ji-seok. I built an empire on security after that. I promised myself I'd never miss the signs again. His hand found hers. And then you came into my house and I saw all the same signs. The fear. The exhaustion. The way you'd flinch at sudden sounds. His grip tightened. I won't lose someone else because I was too blind to act. Tears slipped down Alma's cheeks. I'm sorry. About her. Her name was Minji. She was my fiancé. Ji-seok's thumb brushed across her knuckles. And when I saw you bleeding last night, all I could think was, not again. Not her. I don't know how to let someone protect me, Alma admitted. I've been on my own since I was 16. Then we'll figure it out together. Ji-seok's smile was small but genuine. I'm not very good at this either. A knock at the door interrupted them. Kong-min stood in the doorway, his expression grim. Sir, we have a situation. Marcus Campbell was spotted trying to enter the building where Ms. Sinclair's friend works. Alma's stomach dropped. Naomi. He's going after Naomi. She threw off the blankets. Ji-seok caught her arm gently. Alma, wait. She has 2 kids. If something happens to her because of me, nothing is going to happen to her. Ji-seok's voice was firm. Kong-min, send a security detail to Ms. Park's location immediately. I want her and her children brought here. Already done, sir. They're on their way. Relief made Alma's knees weak. Ji-seok's arm slipped around her waist. Breathe, he murmured. I told you. I'm not letting him hurt anyone you care about. Within the hour, Naomi arrived with her 2 frightened children. The petite Korean woman rushed forward when she saw Alma's bandaged shoulder. Oh my God, what happened? They embraced carefully. I'm okay, Alma assured her. Are you all right? Security got there before he could get close. Naomi glanced at Ji-seok, who stood nearby. Is that your boss? Yes. He looks ready to commit murder on your behalf. Ji-seok approached. Miss Park, I'm Han Ji-seok. You and your children are welcome to stay here as long as necessary. Naomi bowed slightly. Thank you, Mr. Han. Thank Alma. She's the one worth protecting. Ji-seok's gaze shifted to Alma, something warm in his eyes. All of you will be safe here. I give you my word. The rest of the day passed in a blur of police statements and legal consultations. Through it all, Ji-seok stayed close to Alma, checking on her, bringing her tea, ensuring she ate. As evening fell, Alma found herself in the library, staring out at the garden where Marcus had attacked her. Ji-seok's voice came from behind her. You should be resting. She turned. I can't stop thinking about what comes next. No. Ji-seok crossed the room quickly. There's no scenario where I let him hurt you again. You can't promise that. Watch me. He stood close. I have resources Marcus Campbell can't imagine. I can make his life very difficult. He's obsessed. Resources won't matter. Then I'll be more obsessed. Ji-seok's hand cupped her cheek. You've spent 6 months terrified and alone. But I'm telling you right now, Alma, you don't have to do that anymore. Let me be the one who stands between you and the darkness. Alma's eyes filled with tears. I don't know how to trust this. Then trust what you've seen. Have I lied to you yet? No. Have I let him get near you since last night? No. Have I done anything except try to keep you safe? Alma shook her head, tears spilling. Ji-seok's thumb brushed them away. I know you're scared, he murmured. But I swear to you, Alma, I will not let him take you from me. From you. Ji-seok's expression shifted. I told you last night that you were the only bright thing in my life. I meant it. For 5 years, I've lived in this mansion alone, working myself to exhaustion so I wouldn't have to feel anything. And then you arrived, and suddenly I had a reason to come home. His voice cracked. I had something worth protecting again. Ji-seok. Alma's hand covered his. I'm just a maid from Jamaica who ran away. I'm nobody special. You're wrong. His forehead touched hers. You're everything. The alarm shattered the moment. They ran to the security room where Kong-min was pulling up camera feeds. Alma's heart pounded as she saw the figure on screen, climbing the garden wall. Marcus. He cut the power to the exterior fence, Kong-min reported. But backup generators kicked in. He's trapped. Call the police, Ji-seok ordered. And send a team to intercept him. I want him in custody tonight. Sir, he's armed. Then tell them to be careful. But Marcus Campbell doesn't leave my property a free man. Amma watched the screens, trembling. Marcus looked wild, desperate. He carried a gun. He's going to hurt someone, she whispered. No, he's not. Ji-seok's hand found hers. He's going to jail. The next 20 minutes felt endless. Amma watched as Ji-seok's security team surrounded Marcus in the garden. She watched as police arrived and joined the standoff. And she watched as Marcus's gaze found a camera and stared directly into it, his lips forming her name. He knows I'm here, Amma breathed. Of course he knows. Ji-seok's arm wrapped around her. I wanted him to know exactly where you were and how impossible it would be to reach you. I wanted him to see the walls he'd have to climb, the guards he'd have to face. His grip tightened. I wanted him to understand that touching you means going through me. On screen, Marcus lowered his gun. Police moved in swiftly. Within moments, he was handcuffed, being read his rights. It was over. Amma's legs gave out. Ji-seok caught her, lowering them both to the floor. She buried her face in his chest and sobbed, 6 months of fear finally breaking free. His arms wrapped around her, holding her together. You're safe, he murmured. You're safe, Amma. I've got you. When she finally pulled back, his shirt was soaked. I'm sorry. Don't apologize. Ji-seok cupped her face. Don't ever apologize for surviving. I don't know what happens now. Now Marcus goes to jail. Now you heal. Now he paused. Now, if you want, you stay here. Not as my maid. As someone under my protection until you feel safe enough to decide what you want next. And if I want to stay for you? Ji-seok's breath caught. Then I'd spend every day proving I deserve that gift. You already have. He kissed her then, soft and careful. But beneath the gentleness was a promise that made Amma's heart sing. When they broke apart, Ji-seok rested his forehead against hers. I know this is fast. But the moment I saw you bleeding, something changed in me. Something I didn't think I could feel again came back to life. What? Hope. His smile was real. You gave me hope. Tears spilled down Amma's cheeks, but lighter this time. You gave me safety. You gave me a reason to stop running. Then stay. Please. Stay and let me show you what it's like to be, he hesitated. To be what? Loved. The words settled over them like a benediction. Amma kissed him again, pouring everything she couldn't say into it. That night, Ji-seok insisted Amma sleep in his room. He set up a guest bed in the corner, promising to keep a respectful distance. But when Amma woke from a nightmare in the early hours, he was there immediately, pulling her into his arms. It's okay, he murmured. You're safe. I've got you. I'm sorry. I thought I was stronger. You are the strongest person I know. But even strong people need someone to lean on. Ji-seok led her to his bed. Just sleep. I just want to hold you. She settled against his chest, his heartbeat steady beneath her ear. And for the first time in weeks, Amma slept without nightmares. The next morning brought news. Marcus was being charged with multiple counts and would be deported after trial. His visa had been revoked. He's really gone? Amma asked. He's really gone. Ji-seok took her hand. You're free, Amma. You can stop running. I don't know what to do with freedom. Then let me show you. Ji-seok moved to sit beside her. Stay here with me. Not hiding, not working yourself to exhaustion. Just stay. Let me take care of you while you figure out what you want next. And what do you want? I want to wake up and see you smile. I want to have dinner with you. I want to show you Seoul the way it should be seen. His expression turned serious. I want time to court you properly, to prove that what I feel isn't just protectiveness or guilt over Minji. You're the woman I'm falling in love with. Amma's breath caught. You barely know me. I know you sing when you arrange flowers. I know you leave encouraging notes for the staff. I know you're brave and kind and stronger than you give yourself credit for. He leaned closer. And I know that I want to spend the rest of my life learning everything else. That's a big promise. I'm good at keeping promises. Amma cupped his face. Then promise me that if I stay, you won't disappear when things get hard. Promise me you'll let me see the real you. I promise. Ji-seok kissed her palm. But only if you promise the same. No more hiding when you're hurt. We face things together. Together, Alma echoed. I like the sound of that. He kissed her then, slow and deep. When they broke apart, Alma was smiling. Over the following weeks, Alma's life transformed. Ji-seok took her to traditional markets, quiet temples, introduced her to colleagues with pride evident in every gesture. This is Alma Sinclair, he'd say. She's very important to me. Naomi stayed at the mansion for 2 weeks before moving to a new apartment Ji-seok helped arrange. The two women spent hours cooking together while Naomi teased Alma about her billionaire boyfriend. But Ji-seok never pressured for labels. Instead, he courted her patiently. He learned to cook Jamaican dishes, bought her books by Caribbean authors, played reggae in his office. He asked about her dreams, her fears, her hopes. And slowly, Alma learned to let him in. One evening, nearly a month after Marcus's arrest, they sat in the library watching sunset. Alma had been quiet all day. What is it? Ji-seok asked. I've been wondering about Minji. Do you ever worry that what you feel for me is just guilt? A second chance. Ji-seok was quiet for a moment. I thought about that at first. But here's what I realized. What I feel for you isn't about Minji. It's about you. Your strength, your kindness, the way you make me laugh. His hand cupped her cheek. Minji's death taught me not to take people for granted. But you taught me something else. You taught me it's possible to love again. That healing doesn't mean forgetting. Tears slipped down Alma's cheeks. I love you. I didn't mean to, but I do. Ji-seok's smile was radiant. I love you too. I have for weeks. I've just been waiting for you to be ready to hear it. He kissed her deeply. When they broke apart, Alma laughed. What? I came to Seoul to hide. Instead, I found my future. So did I. But 3 days later, Kongmin knocked on the library door, his expression grim. Sir, we have a situation. Marcus Campbell posted bail this morning. The room tilted. Alma grabbed the desk. How? His brother. The one Ms. Sinclair testified against. Kongmin showed them a photo. Devin Campbell. Released 2 weeks ago. He came straight to Seoul and posted bail. Alma's knees gave out. Ji-seok caught her. Both of them are here? Not for long. Ji-seok's voice was steel. Full security protocols. Alert the police. And find them. I want to know where they are every moment. After Kongmin left, Ji-seok knelt in front of Alma. Look at me. She met his eyes, seeing fierce determination. They will not touch you, he said. Do you understand? They will not get near you. They're desperate. So are men in love. His grip tightened on her hands. Trust me, Alma. Trust that I will keep you safe. That night, Alma slept in Ji-seok's bed, his arms around her. She woke once from a nightmare, but he was there, holding her, promising her safety. The attack came 2 nights later. Alma was making tea when the lights went out. Every system went dark. She heard Ji-seok shouting, running footsteps, breaking glass. Then hands grabbed her from behind. She screamed, fighting. The hands were brutal, dragging her toward the back door. She caught a glimpse of Marcus's face, twisted with rage. Did you think he could protect you? Marcus hissed. Alma bit down on his arm. He howled, loosening his grip. She ran, stumbling in darkness. Behind her, Marcus cursed and gave chase. She made it to the hallway before he caught her, slamming her against the wall. Pain exploded in her shoulder. Marcus's face was inches from hers. You destroyed my family, he snarled. Now I destroy you. He raised his fist. Then there was a roar of fury, and Marcus was torn away. Emergency lights flickered red, and Alma saw Ji-seok fighting with brutal precision. You don't touch her. Each word was punctuated with a blow. Security flooded in, pulling Marcus down. Ji-seok didn't stop until Kongmin physically pulled him back. Sir, we have him. Ji-seok immediately turned to Alma, sliding down the wall. He caught her before she hit the floor. I'm here, he said fiercely. You're okay. I've got you. Devin. Caught trying to cut the backup generator, Kongmin reported. We were ready for them. Alma looked up at Ji-seok, seeing blood on his knuckles, fury in his eyes. You came for me. Always. He kissed her forehead, cheeks, lips. Always, Alma. I will always come for you. Police arrived, taking both Campbell brothers into custody. This time, no bail, no second chances. Dr. Lee checked Amma's shoulder while Ji-seok refused to leave her side. Later, when everything was secured, Ji-seok carried Amma to his room. He set her on his bed and climbed in beside her. I thought I lost you, he whispered. When I heard you scream, his voice broke. I've never been that terrified. You found me. Amma pressed her hand over his heart. You saved me. You saved yourself first. You fought back. Pride shone in his eyes. You're incredible. I'm a mess. You're my mess. He kissed her softly. And I'm never letting you go. Marry me. Amma's breath caught. What? Marry me, he repeated. I know it's fast. But I love you, Amma Sinclair. I love your strength and kindness and courage. I love the way you make me feel alive again. He cupped her face. Marry me. Let me protect you for the rest of our lives. Let me love you the way you deserve. Tears streamed down her face. You're serious. I've never been more serious. She looked into his eyes, those eyes that had seen her when she was invisible, that had protected her, that had loved her. She knew this was where she belonged. Yes, she whispered. Yes, I'll marry you. Ji-seok's smile was brilliant. He kissed her deeply, sealing the promise. When they broke apart, both were crying. I'm going to make you so happy, he vowed. You already have. The next morning, Ji-seok brought news that Marcus and Devon had been denied bail and would be held until trial, then immediately deported. It's really over, Amma said. It's really over. Ji-seok pulled out a small box. I wanted to do this properly. He opened it to reveal a stunning ring, a deep blue sapphire surrounded by diamonds. It was Minji's, he said quietly. She left it to me with instructions to give it to the next woman I loved. I think she'd be happy knowing it was you. Amma's eyes filled with tears as Ji-seok slipped the ring on her finger. It's perfect. You're perfect. He kissed her hand. Now, I believe we have some people to tell. The phone call to Amma's mother was tearful and joyful. Naomi screamed when she heard, insisting on an engagement party. The mansion staff celebrated with genuine happiness. That evening, as the sun set over the garden where Amma had once bled and feared, she stood with Ji-seok on the balcony. I can't believe this is my life, she said softly. 6 months ago, I was running. Now I'm engaged to you. 6 months ago, I was alone, convinced I'd never feel anything again. Ji-seok wrapped his arms around her from behind. You changed everything, Amma. We changed each other. The best kind of love does that. Amma turned in his arms. I love you, Han Ji-seok. I love you, Amma Sinclair. He smiled. Soon to be Amma Han. Or maybe Amma Sinclair Han. I'm rather fond of my name. Whatever makes you happy. Ji-seok kissed her forehead. That's all I want. Your happiness, your safety, your love. You have all three. They stood together as stars appeared, two people who had found each other in darkness and brought each other into light. The silent protector and the woman with wounded hearts had healed each other, one gentle moment at a time. And in the mansion that had once felt like a fortress of loneliness, love bloomed fierce and bright and true. If you loved Amma and Ji-seok's journey from wounded souls to healing hearts, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more emotional, romantic stories that will keep you on the edge of your seat. Drop a comment below telling me which moment made your heart race the most. Was it when Ji-seok first found her bleeding, or when he proposed after the final attack? I read every single comment, and your support means everything. Hit that notification bell so you never miss another story of love, danger, and second chances. See you in the next one.